Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker. So today what we're going to be talking about is my first track day. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And also I just did my first track day on the wrong bike. Now, what does the wrong bike mean? We're going to talk about that. But I think people who know the channel and know me are going to want to hear about the wrong bike scenario, I think, first and foremost. So we're going to talk about what happened to GSX-R first. So before I even get into the video, there is someone I need to thank. Aiden, aka Chunky Mitts on Instagram, go give him a follow. To be honest, if he hadn't been there when what happened to GSX-R happened, I probably would have just went home for the day and not went to the track day, which would have really sucked. So I'm glad he was there for certain. Yeah, look, other than that, what we're going to talk about is how the track day went. Do I recommend track days? And then we're also going to talk about the CBF on a track day and would I recommend using the CBF on a track day, because to be honest, despite the fact that I wasn't prepared, like it's regularly serviced anyway, it's my daily bike, but I wasn't prepared, I wasn't ready, and it did pretty well. So we'll talk about that a bit too. And yeah, then we're going to talk about how I'm going to actually release the track day videos themselves. So if you want to hear all of that, stay tuned. First and foremost, the GSX-R. What happened? So the plan was to meet up at McDonald's for a sweet chef's kiss McDonald's breakfast, because everyone knows McDonald's breakfasts are the best breakfast on planet Earth. Which we did. We got to McDonald's, we got there, and then strangely, it was like a weird stack up of errors. So we got there anyway, and McDonald's actually didn't open until 7. We were there at 6:45, so we said we'd wait. And we decided we'd actually just keep going and stop at a McDonald's on the way to Mondello. And as we left McDonald's in Kilkenny, my left peg wasn't there anymore. Now, I don't mean the shifter, which has happened before, and I fixed that issue. I mean the entire left peg. It was just gone, so I pulled in, didn't panic, was still able to click the bike into neutral because the actual gear selector was still there and stuff, so I did that. Turned off the bike, ran back, got the peg, and was like, okay, this is weird, everything looks okay, so I wanted to screw in. And what had actually happened was the internal threads of the peg had stripped. Now, I'm not going to get into this in too much detail because this is likely from a combination of multiple things. To be honest, my own feeling is the reason this happened, because obviously I put like 1,000 miles onto this bike to make sure it was ready. My gut feeling is what happened was I went around the bike the night before the track day and double checked everything. I double tightened everything just to make sure 100% it was ready. And I think because I generally tighten everything right, I think I just over tightened that peg, which caused the threads to strip, and then I didn't have the bolt probably in as far as it could have been, so that didn't help. And look, stack up of errors. The important thing is a replacement peg is already on the way, and I've already booked my next track day, so no real harm done. Everything's okay. It all worked out in the end, which we're going to get to. And then I obviously said, right, we got to make this work. Or Aiden said, you got to make this work. He was like, Rick, calm down, go home, change bike. You have a spare bike, which is something a lot of people wouldn't have, so I was lucky in that way. And I rode this bike all the way home with one leg. I literally clicked it into second gear and managed it all the way home. Thank God for long gears on GSX-R, is all I'd say. I managed it the whole way home in second gear with my left leg kind of hung out the front of the bike to keep it from hitting the ground. So by the time I got home, I was in agony. That was rough. That was really rough. But got home. And I was trying to save the peg the whole way home because I had the peg kind of held on to hold the gear shifter in place, just because I didn't want that falling off too. And then about 2 minutes from my house, the peg fell off. I was keeping an eye on it, but it fell off, hit the road somewhere, and I couldn't find it. And I couldn't wait any longer, so I just went home and got the CBF. Now, it's a pity because all I would have needed to do as I got home is thread, a bigger stainless steel bolt, which I have loads of, into the peg to clean out those strip threads, and I would have been good to go. Would have threaded in fine, but look, that didn't happen. So got the CBF, got on the road, and we were good to go. That's what happened to the GSX-R. That's the story of the GSX-R. It was running perfect, it was ready to go. Sometimes these things happen in life and you just gotta roll with them. I'm lucky. I had a spare bike. It could have been so much worse. So I really, really can't complain. And overall, you know, look, it worked out fine, which we're going to get to now. So next thing on the ticket list, the Trackday. Did I enjoy it? Would I recommend doing them? I'm not going to ruin it. Wait till I turn the camera. So that's where this bike takes center stage. The nickname I have for it is Big Bertha. And I got home, put on the top box because it wasn't on it, and just threw my bag into it, and I got back to McDonald's because Aidan was minding my bag. Obviously it started first turn of the key like it always does, and I rode it over, met with Aidan, and we rode to the track. Now, a couple of things to note about this bike is I was planning on changing the brake pads already. It's coming due for chain and sprocket, and it was coming due for a new rear tyre, so not really in the condition that I would want a bike to be going to the track, whereas I had the jigsaw fully prepped, like I said. Like I said, these things happen, right? So anyway, we ride to Mondello with a less than ideal CBF, and I proceed to have one of the best days of my entire life. So it worked out okay. Honestly, look, from the whole experience of booking the Trackday in Mondello to actually going there and riding, it was fantastic. If you're in Ireland and you have the inkling to do a Trackday, all I can say is do it. The people at Mondello, marshals, everyone else made the whole thing was really easy. Your website could use work. If you're watching this, Mondello, or if anyone in Mondello is watching this, your website could use some work. It's difficult sometimes, even rebooking the next one today. But other than that, the experience was fantastic. You know, it's really easy. You arrive, you get your temperature checked, all the mask stuff and all that stuff, and then you're inside and you find a spot to park up for the day or whatever else. Or if you had been lucky enough to book a pit, you have a pit for the day. But yeah, I found the spot, was there with Moto Dragon, What Would Grant Do, Chunky Mitts, David, who did the nice new fancy graphics section on the channel. I'll link his Instagram, and one more person who I'm not sure do they want to be named. I'll check first, and then if they do, I'll stick their Instagram in the description as well. But yeah, it was just brilliant. So basically how it works is, you know, you get your multiple sessions. I think we got 7 sessions in all, but you're there till 5:30. And I was out with the novices. You'll see me wearing the Visi vest because it was my first ever time Mondello doing a track day like that on bikes. You can see the little novice sticker that I haven't taken off fully in this green one, which indicates it passed a noise test. And just as a little aside here, anyone who bought a house near the only racetrack in Ireland and proceeded to complain about noise from bikes, you're a scumbag. Anyway, so to continue with the vein of bike stuff, yeah, you go out and you get your multiple sessions. You have a sighting lap or 2 sighting laps at the start of the session, which I actually found really helpful because it kind of lets you know, how you're going to be on the track and stuff. And look, the way I'm going to upload the videos is I'm just going to upload the full sessions. Pretty much the full sessions. I'm probably going to cut out the sighting laps because they're kind of boring. But yeah, other than that, it was really good. You know, we got a couple of yellow flags, people falling off. Everyone was okay, which was good. And a couple of red flags, again, people falling off, but everyone is okay, which is good. Yellow flag, you just slow down if you've never been in motorsport before, or watched motorsport before even. And red flag is everyone return to the pits, they've got to clear the track or whatever else. And then there's black flags as well, but we won't get into that. So yeah, I'm going to upload the full session as much as is not boring, because what I want people to see is my own progression. I was pretty bad in session 1, or bad in my own estimation. And I was, hitting the pegs off the ground, and I was hitting my boots off the ground. You'll see all that in B-roll footage now. And then session 2, I got an absolute legend of a marshal called Chris, who followed me around. Thank you, Chris. Really, really appreciated your advice and help. He told me to get the peg stops off the pegs, which I should have done anyway, to be honest. And just gave me a bit of advice on body position and stuff. So again, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I suffer with a hip and knee in particular, and obviously I had the busted arm. You can kind of see the bruising. There you go. Some of it's worse up higher, but anyway. So that did make me getting into the right positions a little bit more of a struggle. but still, advice was invaluable. So from session 2, 3 and 4, I hope you can see my progression. And then I stopped recording because I just wanted to enjoy the rest of the day without worrying about cameras and stuff like that, so I took them off. Sorry, because I actually got way faster towards the end of the day and I'm kind of kicking myself over it, but you know, I'm predominantly a bike person. Like YouTube comes after my love of bikes. I do love YouTube, but I love bikes more. Yeah, so that's how the sessions work. You'll see them all coming up one by one, and if there's any internet experts on there, feel free to give me your advice, but if you're going to be an asshole about it, don't bother. I won't respond, because honestly the marshals at Mondello were the most help I could have wanted, you know, about, you know, dropping your tire pressures and, you know, talking about body position again. Chris, thank you very much. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? I would consider myself a pretty comfortable and experienced rider on the road, but I went there with the intent to learn, and I learned a huge amount, largely in part to actually asking for help. So if you're also at Mondello or any track, just talk to the marshals. They're there to help you, and they will help you. Like they're brilliant, to be honest. So it wasn't just me who got help, you know. Chunky Mitz Aiden got help as well, and he really appreciated it too. So ask them. That's why they're there, and they were kind of laughing that more people don't ask them. But if you're, especially if you're in novices, ask them for help. You know what I mean? That's what they're there for, and you're there to learn. And I learned a huge amount, and I'm way more comfortable at this bike now. Good old Bertha. So, the CBF, how did it do? Really good, actually. To be honest, the power and where it's usable on this bike was actually really good for Mondello. The thing that let it down mainly, and you'll probably see how early I had to brake in the videos, is the brakes. They're just not strong enough. I mean, I'm a lot more confident in the feedback from the brakes now, because I was always kind of iffy about the feeling from them, but they were really good, to be honest. I could feel everything about them. I didn't have to kick on ABS once because I could feel where it wanted to come on, so I just avoided that. But yeah, they're not strong enough, 100%. And the biggest problem with this bike for the track is the linked brakes, because I went there and I checked my pads. I'd ordered pads already because I knew they were getting close, but my rear pads were not. And my rear pads are done now, they're toast, because when you're braking, because of the linked brakes, you have to use your rear brake to get the extra 2 pistons on the front. If you don't know what I mean, you have 6 total usable pistons on the front, 3 on each caliper, but only 4 of them are activated by the front brake. You have to use the rear brake to get all 6. So I ended up having to use the rear brake every time. I mean, which was fine, but it just means that it made it harder to get into the right positions and stuff that I had been, you know, was trying to learn how to use, because usually you wouldn't really use your rear brake. It's a single piston generally. Obviously this one isn't, but look, linked brakes on the track, not for me. I would have been much happier with the brakes and the Gixxer. But anyway, other than that though, I mean, for a one fit all bike, riding there with the top box, with all the stuff in the top box that I needed, and you know, being able to just take the top box off, leave everything I wanted in a locked top box, and just go out and ride the bike, ride it hard, and come back on something that I have literally, it's set up for road use, it's set up for touring use and pillion use. I mean, what a bike. I love this bike way more now than when I originally bought it, because of the track. It was so good in that regard. I honestly love it, can't complain. But let's just run through a few other things. So what are the things? The tires, the Dunlops that I have reviewed in the past, I like them even more now. Oh my god, what a tire. I was abusing them. One particular gentleman who thought he was, I don't know, some form of race guru, told me I was smoking up the rear, which I'm sure I probably was. And they held on the whole day. I'll put a picture on the screen now. I mean, I was quite happy with how I used them. You know, that's like the little, yeah, I did well feeling in your own head. But I mean, these had like 4,000 miles, 4,500 miles, which is like, I don't know, like what, 6,500, 7,000 kilometers. I was planning on changing the rear soon anyway. And then I did a full track day and came home, and there's still life left in it. I mean, yeah, I'd happily get the same tire again. Well done, Dunlop. What else? Power was really good for the circuit, to be honest. You'll probably see in the videos that the kind of more top-endy, powerful sports bikes, even the 600, 750s, they kind of breeze past me in the straight. But then I have a lot more torque coming out of corners, which was really nice. And you'll see then when that's where I kind of get people is into the corners and out of the corners, just because I have that little bit of torque, which makes the bike really manageable through the corner. Is how I found it anyway. The bars, controls. The only thing that I can take away from the CBF is the brakes. The brakes, I feel, is what left me down, and the ground clearance. I've removed a nice chunk of my side stand, which was scraping, and I've removed a nice chunk off each actual peg, even after I removed the peg stop things. So would I like something with more ground clearance and more lean angle like the Gixxer on that track? Yeah, because it's quite a technical track, so that would have been good. But otherwise, CBF was really good. So if you own a CBF and you want to do a track day, just do it. The bike, they're so manageable. They're honestly, these are the friendliest 1000cc bikes ever. I love it so much more now. It's not twitchy. It's just so manageable, and you can use all of the power, because when I came onto the main straight in first gear, it did try to get the front wheel up a little bit, but it's really easy to keep it down because it's long and it's heavy. And I was just able to redline it every time. And I had such a blast on this bike. I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the best days of my life, and I was on this bike, and I will remember it fondly for that forever. Would I take it on a track over the Gixxer again? Probably not. Wait till I try the Gixxer at the end of the month, and then I'll let you know. But it's not what it's for, and there's a lot of things I'd want to do. Chiefly the brakes. The brakes will let it down. The only other thing that I want to mention is the Hagon I have on this. I know I've seen a lot of people since I fitted this, they kind of talk down on Hagon because they're a cheaper option. It was perfect. If you want a Hagon for the road and light track use, I am by no means super fast, but the Hagon was brilliant. I'd say if I had that really wallowy stock shock, it would not have been as fun. Now I did set this up with online tutorials, properly with the rebound and stuff like that. But yeah, I recommend the Hagon. It was really good. So that's it really. That is the video. If you want to say RIP for the Gixxer's peg in the comments, please do. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still upset about it. But at the same time, I'm very happy that I put myself in the position, and lucky that I'm in the position to have more than one bike. Definitely lucky as well. Hugely lucky, to be fair, that I could have just popped home and got it. But it shows why you always keep all your bikes serviced, because I only just changed the oil and stuff in the CBF. I had pads here. I could have, if I was concerned about them, I would have taken them with me and changed them out trackside. But I didn't feel the need to. It clearly wasn't needed. But yeah, if you own a CBF, go do a track day. If you have any questions about track days at all, let me know down in the comments. It's a great place to learn. But do go there to learn. Talk to the marshals, you know what I mean? Talk to the marshals, get their advice, actually learn, be open to learning. Don't go there and think you're Rossi in your head and then bin your bike, because that sucks. No one wants to see a crash bike. And look, crashes can happen to anyone. You know what I mean? You could be unlucky and hit a patch of anything and crash. That is a risk you take going to the track, but it's a lot safer than crashing on the road. So also bear that in mind. Good place to learn. Great place to learn. Yeah, massively recommend Mondello. I've already booked in for another one. I'm so sad about the Gixxer. And obviously, look, if you own a CBF, because I know a lot of people who follow the channel do have CBFs now, and you were thinking about doing a track day, go do it. Watch your foot position, because I've taken 2 good chunks out of my boots. Remove those peg stops, because if you don't remove them, they'll just be ground down anyway, like my ones are now. What else? Get a good set of tires on there, good sticky tires. Don't be using, hard wearing tires on the track. Would not recommend it. That's why all of my bikes, I always say it, I run tires that are grippy. I don't care if they burn off quicker. I want grip, and that's why. Double H pads, that's what I have to go onto the CBF, and I think they would have helped a lot if I had them on there. I put them on every bike I own. They just hadn't been put on the CBF yet because it was good pads on it. And yeah, that's kind of it. So if you watched, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or thoughts or anything like that around this video, leave them down in the comments. Session 1 should be up alongside this video. I kind of want to release them on the same day so people can watch this and go look at that. Let me know what you think there on that one. Just remember, it was my first time and I was there to learn. It's definitely messy and it did clean up throughout the day, but I have a lot of learning left to do, which, yeah, that's a good thing. If I went there and was immediately a pro, I would have been kind of sad, because then there's nothing to aim for and step up. But yeah, anyway, if you watch, thank you very much for watching. If you're new here and want to see more bike videos, then please maybe hit subscribe. And yeah, if you liked the video, hit like, etc. Yeah, as always, a massive thank you to my patrons. I forgot to do all of this stuff on the track day because I was just concerned with track day riding. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, until next time, thank you again. Adios. Outro crew. How sad are you about the GSX-R? I'm still, like, even though I had such a good time on the CBF, and I did have a great time with the CBF, I'm still upset about the GSX-R. And now the CBF needs its new pads, and it needs a new rear tire, and it needs a new chain and sprockets, definitely. Oops. Oh well, bye.